Friday wrap up in the futures market. Let's take a quick look at what happened today. All right, and if there was any trades to be had. So make sure that you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Questions, comments, leave them down below. And I appreciate it. This is Futures Brizio, by the way, is in case you didn't know. 8:30 p.m. on Friday, December 12th. Hope everybody had a great week. So, all right, we'll just jump right in. We'll start at the top here in rice. Now, I made a video yesterday about this indicator, the Stochastic RSI. So I'm not going to go through all that again. I may reference it during this recording, but I'm not going to go into it. You can watch the video I dropped last night. Pretty straightforward oscillator. And that's about it. So, okay, so with rice, again, not beating a dead horse, we continue to work towards these lows down here at the down around the 940 area. So I do expect to see some sort of bounce again, anywhere between where price is now and about the 940 area. So, you know, if we get down, and you can see the 940 area, these lows that were put in back here quite a few years ago. This goes back to like 2015, 2016, 2017. And again, there are lows lower than that go back even longer, you know, go back 20 years ago. But if we just focus on this area right here, you can look to the right. Here's our current price right here. You can see these lows sitting in here. So we are getting pretty close to that area. And so I've been very, like I said, hesitant to take any trades to the downside, but there certainly it has continued to move lower here. So today, so this is the 4-hour chart. So the last 4-hour signal was, you can clearly see pullback here, and then we had the oscillator give us a signal. That was back on Tuesday. If we go to the hourly chart and we look at today's price action, we really went nowhere. So there was no trade here today, at least on, you know, from a day trading perspective. Here's about the market open, you know, right about here. You can see price went down for about an hour or so after the opening candle, and then that was it. Then we pulled back, we came back, retested the low, and then we closed actually back near the open, or at least at the end of the 9 o'clock candle right here. Or 10 o'clock candle, excuse me. So no trade there, and the oscillator did not give a signal here either, at least not from the 1-hour time frame. Again, on a shorter time frame, you could have perhaps taken a trade, you know, maybe taken this little short down to here, pulled back, went down. It did make a low here, so you potentially could have taken this little piece out. Again, this is only a 15-minute chart, but I mean, that's not really a trending day. This is just basically, you know, noise essentially. So sorry, I keep looking behind me. My cat is over on the my filing cabinet, so I don't know, probably getting into some kind of trouble. What are you doing over there? Hey, hold on, guys. I got to get him down. 1 second. I'm telling you, it's always something around here, guys. If it's not my dog barking at a delivery guy, then it's a cat. So, anyways, so that's it for rice. On to soybean. Soybeans actually did make a nice down move today. Let's jump to our hourly chart first so we can find. So this was the move today. And you can see there was no signal, though. This is what I was talking about in the video. There was no signal because here's the opening candle right here. The price, we had this big engulfing bear candle at the open. Pulled back a little. Did go down a little bit more. Closed right here for the day. So, you know, it wasn't a bad day. This is an hourly chart. But let's see. We have to go down to about a 15-minute chart or lower to find this signal right here. But you certainly can do that if you're willing to, you know, understand that, again, the lower you go, you might sometimes get faked out. This one would have been a good trade. I didn't take this one. I took soybean oil, which I'll show you. And so that was that trade. And this one actually did move today and did make a new low. We actually had another opportunity to enter here at 12:30 today, which I wouldn't enter that late in the day, especially on a Friday. But it did go on to continue to make a new low after that. So very unusual. I don't know if there was any USDA agricultural news or whatever that came out, but this is very unusual to see this move like this on a the last 2 hours, less than 2 hours of a trading session on a Friday. So, but you can see it did provide a nice signal here on the 15-minute chart. You could refine that probably even further on a 5-minute chart. So again, guys, take your bias off the higher time frame. You can see on the 4-hour, again, we had the last setup here for you swing traders was on Tuesday. But, in continuation of this move off the 4-hour chart, you could look for entries. If you didn't miss that one off the shorter time frame, the 15-minute, 30-minute, whatever, and there you go. And this oscillator would have given you a couple of nice entries. All right. So I don't know why. I think it's because I put these indicators on my chart. Let's see. Yeah, okay, good. It did show it. All right, so this is the one trade I did take today. This is soybean oil. Again, we had the same thing, coming out of the open, we had a bearish engulfing candle. So that's where I got in, and then I got out right here at 1:45, which is about, a half hour, 40 minutes before the close. I wasn't going to hold it any longer than that. And you can see it really didn't do anything after that. So that was the one trade I took. And it's very much like soybeans, again, going out to the 4-hour time frame. We had this, the last setup we had here was yesterday. And then in continuation of that downtrend today, we had, here was 8 o'clock. So this was the trade here, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, market opened here and went down. And the only reason why I wanted to exit at this point is because if we look here on the 4-hour chart, we're coming into what has been a pretty heavily supported area. We didn't quite make it there, but you can see there are several attempts to break this level here in the last couple of months. And so I did plan on it, even if price did get down here, which it never made it, I would have definitely gotten out at these lows either way. So, but it didn't quite get there. So we'll see what happens with this next week. But that was the one trade I took today. So it was a good trade, but other than that, like I said, I did not take the soybean one, and soybean meal probably, we'll look at it, was probably the same setup. Soybeans and soybean meal do usually, especially those two, tend to move together. Okay, so Canadian dollar continues to run up. We did have this gap yesterday, late in the day. This was something news related, so we did have this gap. And then price today tried to go down and fill it. Didn't quite fill it, but it did spike down there. We go to the hourly chart. So, I'm looking for longs here, and I didn't really get one. You can see, here on the 15-minute chart, we're really the entire day today. We look at it from about 8 o'clock. This was about the New York Open right here, 8 o'clock. You can see price didn't do anything. In fact, it just went down the whole day. And so we'll see what happens next week if we can hold this uptrend. If we get some sort of a pullback, we're still looking at market structure here on the 4-hour sitting around this area. So we're still, comfortably inside an uptrend. So let's see, we come down, maybe fill this gap. Maybe we go a little lower. I don't know. But ultimately, as long as this area holds, I'll be looking for a resumption of this uptrend. And hopefully I can take a piece of that out, because I did not take advantage of that. So, all right, so that's what I'm looking for in Canadian dollar, just based on the structure. All right, jumping over to soybean meal. Again, this is the 1-hour chart. And this one actually really did not follow its big brother soybeans. Here was the open today, and it actually went up instead of down. Now, it did come up to probably grab some liquidity here at these equal highs. And then the last 2 hours of the day, it did start to come down. So ultimately, I think if we look at the 4-hour chart, there's really nothing to stop this from, falling further. I mean, there's a little gap back here on the 4-hour chart, That's still quite a distance from where it is now. So this does look pretty bearish as long as we maintain market structure. And again, maybe this is our structure level right here. I don't know. But until we start, making higher highs, higher lows, then this is still in a downtrend. And again, if you're looking on the higher time frame, it does look pretty bearish. Although, again, it did not follow soybeans down today. But ultimately, it might. I mean, you can see late in the day we did get this signal. But again, this was the last 2 hours of trading. I wouldn't have taken that anyways. So we'll see what happens next week. If we swing and continue going higher. But as long as we hold some structure levels, I think ultimately, we may see this thing roll back over to the downside. Okay. So as I thought, maybe soybean meal would follow soybeans. It actually didn't. There was no trade on this market today, at least not the way I trade. So the trade today to take today was either soybeans or soybean meal, and I took soybeans. Okay, on to corn. So corn has been range bound here since we made this gap on the chart a couple of weeks ago right here. And it looks like maybe we're breaking out of that range today. We did the last 4-hour candle, did break the range. So again, I have not been interested in this mainly because it's just been moving sideways. And ever since it made this price gap, it doesn't know what it wants to do. And so now that it's broken lower, who knows? I don't know. Maybe we're going to come down, finally fill this gap right here, and then turn higher. I don't know. But I'm going to wait and just see. I'm not in any hurry to trade corn. Let's see ultimately if we come down and fill this gap and then go higher, or if we're going to start a downtrend. So if we get below this gap area, certainly, I think this is our market structure here. We got to go out to a little bit higher time frame to see it. So do we come down here, fill this gap, maybe go a little lower and then turn? I don't know. Filling the gap doesn't mean it's going to turn higher, but certainly that might be a first target. But as long as this area holds, we're still in an uptrend, and then maybe eventually we'll bounce higher. But I have not traded corn in about 2 weeks just because of what you see right here. This sideways price action consolidation that's been going on since November 28th. So we're at solid 2 weeks doing nothing right here. This was the first major sign of any kind of breakout, was right at the end of the session today. Okay, and then lastly on hogs. So again, 4-hour chart. Looks like we have again broken structure. There was no signal here on the 4-hour chart today. Price did try to work higher. Let's see. Let's find our open today. This is the 1-hour chart. And you can see price, it really did nothing. Here's the open today, and then we did nothing. Went completely sideways. So again, what do you do with this? Well, the hourly chart seems to be a good area to look for trades here. When you get them, maybe once a week, you'll get a nice trend that you can hold here for a couple of days. So let's see what happens. We come back down here. I wanted an arrow, not a line. If we follow these last couple of signals, maybe we'll come back down here into oversold and then look for a crossover signal to go higher again. That might be a possibility. We do still have, I feel, plenty of room to run to the upside. Just looking at this higher time frame, I don't really think there's much to stop it. And there were no setups on this asset today. Even down here on the 15-minute chart, there's nothing. The market did absolutely nothing today. So it missed nothing in hogs today. So this is kind of what I'll be looking for next week, right? If we're going to continue the upside, I would like to see that pullback, get back in here under oversold, and then look for a crossover back up. And, trades like that, if you look at the last couple of ones, you can hold these for like 2 or 3 sessions. And then, you can actually use the stochastic RSI to exit those trades once it gets into oversold or overbought up here. That's, crossover signal, or it just gets up in your overbought. You can jump out of that trade, and that would have served you well on these last couple of signals here. especially once it crosses over again, like right here and right here. Those were perfect areas you can see to get out. So, all right, so there was nothing doing in hogs today. So again, the two trades really to have today were soybeans and soybean meal, and that was about it. I took soybeans and soybean oil, and I took the oil trade. Kind of a coin flip. The soybean trade looks to be slightly better, but I took the soybean meal one, oil one, just because at the time it looked like a little bit better setup. All right, so that's it, guys. I'm going to leave it there. I hope everybody has a fantastical weekend. I'll be back. I'll be around Monday and Tuesday next week. I will make probably at least one video in there. And then on Wednesday, I am leaving town for about 2 weeks. Be back on December 30th. I will be in the markets, keeping an eye on things, at least running up to maybe the 23rd of December. After that, between really from, Christmas Eve, the 24th, and even after Christmas, that week between Christmas and New Year's can be very low volume and volatility. We'll see. I'm not saying I won't take any trades, but I won't be, itching to take a lot of trades during that week, because a lot of the big traders, banks, big players, hedge funds, large speculators, commercials, just kind of taking a break and taking that holiday week off. So I don't expect to see a lot of price movement. But between now and, say, the next 10 days, I think the market will probably move like this, where we'll see not a lot of opportunities, but there'll be some that'll pop up. So I will be keeping an eye on things. I just don't know if I'll be making any videos. I will have my computer with me, obviously, but I won't be in my office here, and so we'll see. But I might jump in, just say hi, and drop a short video if there's anything good comes up. But I will be there watching. So any questions or comments in the meantime, even next week, leave a comment on this video or another one. I will be, I do see all the comments and everything. I appreciate it, and I certainly respond to all of them. All right, guys, so I hope that was helpful. It's just a wrap up for today, Friday, December 12th, 2025. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave any comments, questions below. Again, have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.